Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Alex. Back there is Miss Bella. And today I wanted to talk about what I think AI actually changed and what it hasn't changed when it comes to building software. Now, I've been a software developer for over 35 years now. I've worked for large companies, for small companies, and I have shipped numerous products. Let's look at what you could do with AI today. So first and foremost, you could just open up Claude or Cursor or any number of these agents, just type in a prompt and it will build you something. AI is designed to make us happy and to complete the tasks that we assign it. So if you give it a task that it actually can't complete without filling in certain gaps, it's just going to fill them in based on what it sees out in its model, right? So it's trained on all this vast amount of data. And so it says, oh, they're looking for this type of app. And so let me go look and see what this type of app normally has as far as features go. And that's where I'm going to include. And so if you give it very general instructions, it's going to find that finer detail in other things that it knows around this type of domain or app that you're trying to build. But of course, you're probably building because there's a differentiator, right? There's something that you want to get across that isn't necessarily in all of those other apps that it's drawing its information from. So what does that mean? So in other words, you get something back from this application, and let's just say that, it's 80% there, and you can iterate the other 20% and get it to that 100% state. But what did you actually build? Is it secure, right? Is there an architecture? And if so, what is it? Are you going to be able to support this going forward? In other words, a month from now, if somebody finds a bug in this software that you wrote, is anybody going to be able to fix that bug, or is it going to become some kind of a problem? Can it handle real users? Is there like a database behind it? Like all these questions start to come up. And if you're not a software developer, they may or may not come up, right? You might just be so happy that you've got something running on your laptop and it's working and it's great, that you don't even think about these things. And by the time you do think about these things, it might be a little late, right? You've already burnt all this time and energy building something that eventually cannot go to market. And so I think for every one person who builds something and takes it to production and it starts generating revenue for them, there's probably, I don't know, 100,000 other people who never make it past their laptop stage or never make it to production for any number of reasons. And so one way you could look at it is how we build a house, right? So if you're, say you have a machine that can build you a house, and so you give it some prompts, you explain where the kitchen is going to be, you explain where the bedrooms are, where all the things are going to go. You come back in the morning and it's this house, right? So you walk in, and so you start to question things, right? Like, oh, wait a minute, is there a basement? I forgot about the basement. And no, there is no basement. And then the question is, what's this built on top of? Is this house on top of a sinkhole, or what's the foundation like? I didn't think about the foundation. Oh, wait a minute. Like, where's the water line? Where's the electrical box? Like, where are all these things that I didn't put in my prompt, but are extremely important to how my house operates and, whether or not it's going to survive the next storm. So there's all these different things. And when it comes to software building, it's no different. We have all these different things. Basically, the devil is in the detail. It's not in that high level idea that you have. It's refined into the different features and components of the software that you are building. Basically, what AI has changed for us is the ability to build quickly and build things without necessarily understanding the code that we're using. But what it hasn't changed is how we build software. Software is built exactly the same way 10 years ago as it is today. Languages change, frameworks change, the components get better, there are obviously modern patterns to software design and development that we didn't use 10 years ago that we use today. But for the most part, we go through a set of phases to build the software. Planning is a big part of that phase. This is something that I don't think a lot of people who build software actually do. Additionally, there's infrastructure to consider. And again, those of us who aren't technical, who aren't aware of the pricing around AWS components, Amazon Web Services, or Microsoft Azure components, or Google Cloud components, you'd be shocked to see what some of these things can cost you on a month-to-month basis. And it can get really expensive without you having any users up front. And there's always ways around that. Like there's ways around logging in, there's ways around having a database in a central place or doing something a little bit different. There are options depending on what you're building. And I don't think a lot of us who are doing vibe coding and not considering any of those things get to a good place with any of the architecture or any of the infrastructure services. Then in addition to that, software is built through layers. Like we have a UI layer, we have a database layer, we have a logic layer. We may need additional structures around that architecture. And without having that, we basically get a, mishmash of things in one solution. And that becomes very difficult to maintain. Now, the reason why we break software up into these layers is not because, somebody 100 years ago decided that this is how things should be. It's because it becomes much more manageable and maintainable over time. Now, we use languages with AI that are meant for people. JavaScript is designed for software developers. It wasn't designed for Claude. We're using C#, we're using Java. We're using all these languages, patterns, and ways of doing things that software developers have created over the years. Software developers can read this, understand it, and follow it. And what we essentially have done is taught these AI agents to do the same type of thing. We're not there yet where we have programming languages that only Claude understands, that it could be much more efficient in building something for you. Maybe in 5 years, we will be there, right? We'll have these languages that people don't read, that only AI agents read and understand. And I think that's coming, but we're not there yet. So if you're building software today, these are definite things that you need to consider. Security is another huge factor of this. Most people don't realize this, but the moment you release something and you start collecting email addresses and names and ages and all these different things, you're on the hook to protect that data. GDPR requires it, and it doesn't care if you're a one-man shop or if there are 50 people behind you. Like, you're going to get the same fines if you're not taking care of these things properly. Most states have laws that, basically say if you're collecting information from your customers, you need to take steps to protect that information, that you need to be able to show that you've done your homework in terms of security. And that is relatively prevalent. It's something that I see every day. Small apps, small businesses shut down because they are such easy targets and they're breached and basically shut down in moments. So what I'm getting at is that I think building software with AI is the way of the future. And that's what's changed. We now use AI to actually build the software. But software has to be built on top of your recommendation and your guidance. Additionally, having a plan and understanding exactly how your software is going to work is also a huge part of building software. I think if you have that high-level idea, just like with building the house, where you can get 80% of it right, but the devil's in the details and you miss all these things that are hugely important to your project. I think it's important to have those up front and know what to do with them. And so you could use AI for all of these things. You can use AI to help you understand and make decisions on the architecture side. You can get it to create a infrastructure plan that's cost effective for you. You can get it to create an MVP for you or a minimal viable product. And you can get it to write these features one at a time, making sure that you iterate and have exactly what you're looking for. But you have to know how to do that. And so this is what 35 years of experience helps me achieve. Now, I do run a 3-hour workshop, which I'll link below, completely free, to explain some of this stuff in more detail. So happy to have you there. But overall, if you're building on your own and you're building professionally and it's something that you're going to deploy and release to the general public, you have to take those extra steps and figure out exactly how your software is going to be built, then build it, then have it tested, and make sure that everything works before it goes live. So overall, that's what I think AI actually changed and what it didn't when it comes to software building. Thank you for watching.